Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us to the weekly connection. We like to call it, is not just about education or learning information, but certainly making a connection to each other and obviously creating a circle of positive people, or I like to call it powerful people, whoever connecting to this wisdom and increase wisdom in their life, and not just a floater who just, getting some or living by quotes or slogans. Our desire, the reason we started with this concept of teaching this wisdom to everybody. We're not really, deciding who is coming, who is not coming, who is going to listen to it or not. It's not up to us, it's up to the universe and up to you if you decide to continue. So our job is to share the most important wisdom that is currently right now appear in this world. Obviously, cosmically, not something that we're thinking from our own mind. It's not something that I came up and like, oh, that's going to be a nice idea. No, it's simply what is being projected into this universe every single day. And for those of us who know, again, a little bit more when you grow spiritually, a little bit, your ability to accumulate a little bit extra energy, right? So therefore, the universe will give you more to share, more to give to others. One of the important part that we learn in the wisdom of Kabbalah is the part that is, what does it got to do with me? That's the wisdom. This is where I want the wisdom to work for all of us. It's not simply God said so. Oh, the way the scripture said so. The ancient wisdom said so. No, this is not the way of Kabbalah, and specifically not a spiritual way. Why? Because there is a very fundamental agreement that we should have, and we want to have. No coercion in spirituality. It's simply against all the rules, universal rules. Simply, you're going against when you forcing someone. Again, I shared earlier, but it's important to share it right now as well. There are two things that you want to stay away from in your life. One, never. Again, I'm saying never because it's funny how people live their life this way. I want what he and she and them have. That is technically you destroying who you are. You're destroying your originality, your core. Once you think, I wish I have that apartment. I would love to have that much money. I would love to have a girlfriend or a boyfriend like that. Never. That takes away, you just diminishing who you are, nothing to do with the other person. You can think to want what they want, they have, you can think about those things, maybe as a positive jealousy, I can call it, but never, I wish I would have that boyfriend. No. Why? Because each one of us have a specific original reasons why you're here. And once you've been busy with what he have, she have, I wish I have that job, I would like to have their money. Imagine you saying, wow, I would like to receive the $700 million that person had. Why they gave it to him? If I had it, I would do so many good things. But what if you know that $700 million is attached at the bottom to cancer? Would you like it? Oh no, can I have it without? Obviously, many of us don't even know the story of anyone around us, not even our story, right? It's revealed as we're moving on through life. So one thing is, I don't want anything that somebody else. Don't ever go there. Why? Because you're diminishing, you're destroying who you are. Second thing is you want to be very, very much careful about it. Don't try to change anyone, because you away from where you are and what you meant to do in this world, right? So we know these two things, very important, again, appear this week, because this is, if you remember, we spoke last week about the beginning of the year. Now, when the year started, as the energy started to be revealed, we want to make sure that in this year, I will be solely focused internally. Everything you observe externally, right away, what does it trigger inside of me? Oh, look what they have. The reason I say what they have, and the reason I'm excited about how much money the person has, because you have it inside of you. And the way to attract it is by searching inside for what blocking you are receiving that much. Nothing to do with taking it from them. When you have people in your life, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, you're married, you have kids, you have employees, you have a partner. Don't we try to change our employees all the time? Don't we try to change our partners all the time? Oh, if you're in relationship, for sure, your girlfriend or your boyfriend not in your standard, and you want them to change 1, 2, and 5 things. Not just that you want them, you actually show them how to change it. It's never going to work, my dear. And that's causing a lot of frustration in relationship, in businesses, and you're just creating what we call monkeys, right? That's it. It's reactive being, right? There's no even a creator. You take away the creator from them. So each one of us needs to do the work of igniting the original light of the individual, not my, or not his, not the big light or the energy. Make sure that if you want to change someone, get them closer to their light. That's how they're going to change. So obviously this week, it's a very important part of our spiritual development, because we started with what we talked about last week about Passover. We're still in the week of that energy until Friday night. What we want to connect is, how do I want to use my desire this coming year? What are you going to do with your desire? Being busy with myself, desiring things that are just destroying me? And I would suggest, again, the Kabbalah suggests that if you have a desire, make sure that that desire is to help many people getting closer to their light, to their success, to the highest level that they meant to achieve. And as a result, everything that bothers you, everything that annoys you, everything that stops you from achieving your greatness will have to come first through you. Then, because you are the channel to help them being more successful. Not changing people and not taking away from people. Bring them. Your desire this year is to bring every person that you meet, that you have friends, that you're connected, family. My desire is to bring them closer to their light, to their capacity. Everybody have their own ground, their own foundation. And if you try to load on them, maybe you destroy them. If you give them a little bit lighter, too light, you're not really moving them. You're not creating a dent. So be able to ask my desire. I want to know where exactly the other person, and give them exactly what they need and want to get closer to their light. This is one, I would say, part of a majority part of what allow you to be closer to your goal in life. This again, I would like each one of us to make sure that we're bringing people closer to their light, to their success. I want to make sure you're going to make your friends successful. Each one of us make our friends successful. And as a result, that success has to funnel through you. Success has to elevate you to be successful, to allow others to be successful. Second thing is about, again, this week. Tonight, it's when cosmically we know the teacher of my teacher left the world. That's happening right now, tonight. And for me and for us, studying this wisdom for many, many years, we are very connected to the writings of that particular Kabbalist. So the teacher of my teacher gave us all the, of course, I have, it's a close relationship. He's not that far away, and I study from him a lot. And his light is more available for us tonight, like any other light, any other night. And for me, the teacher of my teacher was the ultimate student. And tonight is about the students. Many people have difficulty with being a student. Again, I tell you what's the difficulty. Everybody wants to be leaders. Everybody wants to be a teacher. Everybody wants to be instructor or a coach. No. If anyone think in their crazy mind that they can be a teacher, that they can be a leader or a boss or whatever it is, you cannot. I mean, you can take the time and think about it. But the only way to become a real teacher is if you learn to be a real student. And a real student is not a real student if we not become a real teacher. So, Kabbalistically we're speaking about, we don't look for followers. Followers, there is in cults, there is in religion, there is in many, many different places. Followers you can find anywhere. You give them a little bit crumbs here, crumbs there, they're following you, like any other thing. So that's why it's very hard to find the right people. That's why whoever listens to this, you have to understand you have a unique gift of coming to listen to that, because not many souls attracted to this wisdom like us. And again, I'm talking about not many. Even if it's millions, it's still just a spark amongst this world. So we need more and more people desiring to be real students. Meaning, we're not looking for followers, we're looking for leaders. But a real leader that cannot follow is not a real leader. And a follower that just like to follow another step up his game and help others to get closer to their light is not a real follower. He cannot be a real teacher. And tonight, this is an important lesson I learned from my teacher. Because I was very comfortable in sitting and study with my teacher for years, until he pushed me and said, okay, now you have to go and teach. He says, me? Teaching? What am I? I don't like teachers. I stay away from teachers, I can be a very good student, because I do exactly what my teacher tells me. I follow the direction, and I actually want so much more, which is interesting enough. The teachers of my teacher, the one that of tonight, he says, if you don't have a desire to receive endlessly from your teachers, you're not yet a student. Let me repeat it again, because many of us missing the point. Many of us are come and study. Again, this particular class or whatever it is, I don't ask or demand anything from anybody. We doing it because we love to share, and we love to awaken the light of each one of us in this world. But I do say that if you want to become a real student, I would like you to ask and demand endlessly from your teacher or from the teaching. Endlessly. That's a real student. A real student who wants a little bit here, or help me with this and help me here and help me that. My teacher says they're not yet understanding what is the relationship between student and the teacher. So tonight we have the opportunity to connect, to be a real student. And a real student, again, I want to make sure we're not missing the point. He's not someone who study very hard. He's someone who willing to go and receive endless from his teacher, even if it's uncomfortable, and even if it's just comfortable, and whatever it takes. This particular teacher of tonight, Rav Brandwein, his name. He told his desire was, whatever my teacher tell me, I will do. as comfortable as uncomfortable. Again, it's not about being a follower of your teacher, my friend. I'll give you an example my teachers told us. Imagine you have a little difficulty in business. In your business, a little bit, something goes wrong. You see a poor guy in the street looking for money. Will you go and ask him for advice? What should I do? I have a problem, Or you're going to go to a billionaire, self-made billionaire who runs, billion-dollar company with tons of employees on his head. Would you ask him advice, or the poor guy who cannot make money? Who are you going to ask? Of course, I'm going to ask. If I have an opportunity to be next to a billionaire and learn, right? Of course, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be prepared. I'm going to be in silent. I'm going to be like a fish, just absorbing what is that billionaire tell me, advice to save my business. I'm not going to go to someone who have no wisdom, right? Same thing with the wisdom of Kabbalah, the teacher, spiritual teacher. That's what it tells us. You go because is holding all the wisdom. So if I come as like an entitled, if I'm a student, I'm entitled, my teacher tell me this because I'm, want a little bit here and wants a little bit there. Eventually, I didn't get what my teacher can give me. My teacher can give me endless, and I want endless because I want to get the most amount of light I can from what I came here to generate in my life, in this world as well. When you come to study, please open yourself to receive endlessly. Don't come to receive a little bit. Because when you come to receive a little bit, even from that 5 hours of let's say, a class that you've done, or even for 5 minutes, I prepare to receive endlessly from that teaching. This is a real student consciousness of what my teacher told us to think about and to become, because once you become a real student, you have a potential to become a great, great leader. That's one of the points. Second point of tonight. So we know, I want to speak about a couple of things that are important of our development and to get to know ourselves. We spoke last week about removing of what we called last week chametz, which is the bread, right? The bread. But we learned that flour and water, before we go into the spiritual significance of that, flour and water doesn't rise so much, right? If you take some flour, some water, doesn't rise much the dough. But the moment you add what we call yeast, right? Yeast, it expands way more. This week in the reading, there was a beautiful understanding about it. He says, Seor is what we call yeast. What is the yeast? Each one of us, gvulecha, it means borders. Each one of us have borders, have limitation. Like, when someone in your life come and tell you something and you says, oh, I'm about to lose it. Right? When they triggering you, I'm about to lose it. If I'm going to continue that in one more minute, I'm going to be very angry, right? Or if the person is going to keep bothering me again and again, right? Imagine someone is poking you again and again and again and again. At some point, you're going to explode. Does that make sense to everybody? I would like you to be very aware of those borders. Why? Because in each one of us borders, the yeast is waiting. What is the yeast? Is the expanding of like anger. It's that dramatic move happening. When you reach your borders, your limitation, that's when you're at risk of completely expanding outrageously and overly reactive. And then later on, you go through the process of like, oh, why did I do it? And then you speak so bad about yourself, and you beating yourself, and you quote unquote telling yourself that this is wrong, this is not okay, what I did. Does it make sense to all of us? We would like to protect ourselves from that border. Why? Because you need to get to know yourself and your limitation, and know when I get there, I'm going to be explosive. You know, all of us know it. You know it. Why are you so, how you said, surprised when you all of a sudden overly reacting about something? Sitting right now tonight and hearing about it. Yeah, I know when my bosses keep when my manager keep calling me again and again and again and again and tell me to do something. Enough, leave me alone, right? I just need someone to ask me twice something and I'm explosive. Yes or no? Just ask me another time, and you gone, right? How in our mind we're speaking about it. Do you know it? Do you know exactly where your borders are? You have to really know, walking through life, know your borders, know over there, the East. What do you mean the East? That dramatic, that explosive, that added, stories happening right there, not in any other time. So the Kabbalist says, one thing is to get to know where are your borders, what your limitation, and not to cross them, but be very sensitive when you get there, because that is where you start pushing your border forward. That's when you, what we call expanding our vessel. So if your goal is to have endless desire to reveal the light of every individual in this world, that desire requires expansion of a vessel, right? Expansion of the vessel. How? First of all, to know where is my borders, okay? And then know myself. When I get there, I need to be very sensitive to that in that moment. If I'm reacting to that, if I'm engaged, it's not about pedal back. No, it's about going there consciously. It's different, it's proactive than waiting for the moment to come and I'm explosive, what we call reactive type of life. Everybody pushing me around, everybody tells me what to do, boom, I'm explosive. Don't wait for that. Learn your border, learn your vessel, learn your limitation. And when you get there, be very sensitive to say, you know what, instead of 3 times, tell me some, after 3 times, after the 3rd time I'm explosive, let me try the 4th. And then next, let's say the 4th and you were explosive, then the next time you're going to go to the 5th and to the 6th. I hope it's clear for everybody, but you have to expand your vessel, and it tells you, because let's say someone asks for endless desire. In Passover, we spoke about last week, ask for more desire. I want the greatest desire to receive. So now that moment that in the universe was stamped on you, the desire, the greatest desire to receive. How do you think it's going to look like in this world? How are you going to think it's going to look like in that particular reality? All of a sudden I have a bigger desire? No. You're going to get many, many opportunities to expand that desire, to reveal that desire. You will get so many different ways of, like, let's say, for example, all of a sudden I feel lazy. Why? Because in that moment I was about to, right, to expand my desire. But I decided that my desire will be used for myself alone, to be lazy and stagnant. No. Every opportunity like that is opportunity to expand my desire and to reveal more of my light to this world. So again, the other gift, the next gift we spoke about it, is know your borders and learn that this year you have to expand them. Have to, it's not the right word, but desire to expand your borders as you reach them. It's very important. Otherwise, all the desire we ask for from the universe stays in suspense, say in, right? Wait. So if you're not expanding your borders, if you're not expanding your vessel, all the desire that we ask for, all what we wanted to reveal in this world, stay in suspense. You understand? So our job is to expand our vessel again on a consistent base by knowing my limitation, knowing my borders. Get there proactively. Get there and be very sensitive, not to be reactive in that moment, because that's what we call the expansion happen only when you touch the borders. Okay, so that's important to know. Next thing, how long we have? Okay, good. We're good with time. Next thing is one of the beautiful part that that my teacher shared with us. One second, it is, yeah. I want to share with you something that he said. And again, I want to read his word because it's a very holy word for me. Look what he says. I'm going to read for you, and I want each one of us actually to ask for that. It's a beautiful blessings to all of us to have. He says, Uvechlal noegani, and the Kabbalah says, my teacher says, every night, every single night when I go to sleep, before I fall asleep, I'm praying and I'm asking the Creator, שלא יאונה חלילה רעה לשום אדם בגללי. That he asked that no harm will come to anyone because of my actions. Now, again, we're not talking about a regular person who have a day job and being busy in getting some business going on, and no. This is not a person of this world. This is we're talking about different souls, elevated souls. Why would every day would you think to hurt anybody, right? I mean, anybody here every night asking? Have you ever asked, please, I'm begging no one to get hurt because of my action. So sometimes, it's actions that we do that their ramification hurt others. And sometimes it's action that we didn't take hurt others. So one thing, as I said before, each one of us wants to ask, imagine if, let's say in the end of life, there was a screen that opened like an iPad they give you as you leave this world. And they start showing you, hey, you see, you had an opportunity to really save that person's life by telling him one positive word. And you didn't. Boom, look what happened to that person. And they're showing you one after one, all your employees, all the people who worked with you, all the people you in charge, all the people that sat next to you. Wow, you could have said one smile even to that individual, you would change their life. And because of you, you were the last stop. You were the last moment to smile to them, and they will change their mood and they will not commit suicide, as forbid. But you didn't do it because you were so busy with yourself, because you were so busy with why and yes and calculating and all of that. So what I'm asking as well is to see, asking, you can ask every night, but I'm sure all of us hurting others right and left without our awareness, the way we drive, the way we talk, the way we act, the way we respond to people. Sometimes, I'm not talking just about that. I'm talking about that you going through life with a desire to reveal the light of every individual. And that will give you a protection that you're never going to hurt anybody. Because you were concerned with, can I help them reveal their light? That consciousness will set you in a different place that you not, even if you think it's going to hurt somebody, it will translate to something very positive. Because your desire is that they will reveal the most amount of light that they came here to reveal. I want to bring people closer to their light. There you have the protection by not to be in a place like that. That's what it tells us. It tells us you walk around, you think you did your work, but you didn't take care of somebody else. You didn't do your work. Yeah, what do you want me? I'm a good person. All those negative people, it's their problem. Oh, really? Why do you see those negative people in your life? Because I need to learn what not to do. That's very nice. But your job is to also help them, show them their light, and they will never do something like that. Part of it is to extend ourselves to help and bring somebody closer. This is just one point to connect to his energy. And second thing is, I want to share with you, he says one time, come to me, a student. He's not a student yet, but he says, I'm not a spiritual person. He came to my teacher and says, I'm not a spiritual teacher. I'm not a spiritual person, but you need to know, if somebody comes to me in the middle of the night and asks me, do me a favor, drive me here or do something here, I need help here, of course, I'm waking up and doing it. He says, and what you telling me, that you are not a spiritual person, right? He says, you didn't know that he says, because you didn't know that a person who wake up in the middle of the night or have no problem waking up and help somebody else, this is all the spiritual path you need, he tells him. Why? Let me explain to you a little bit deeper to understand that idea. In the spiritual path, obviously in Kabbalah, there are two ways or two levels you do the work. One is between you and the place. What do you mean the place? You have responsibility to take care of this world. You have responsibility to take care of the books and your house, right? Or your city, to keep it clean, to all kind of stuff, all kind of actions, which are spiritual action that people do to preserve something of what we call the place. What do you mean the place? It's the world and your work in this world. But there's another aspect of the world that we do work on, is between us and others, between Adam and Chavero, between a friend and us. That work is not just the most important work, but it's the most beautiful work. Why? Let's say, for example, if you had a religious experience, right? What do you know about religion? And this is what these Kabbalists, if you understand, from the 1%, from the physical place, he was a religious person, looked like religious. But all what he's sharing is absolutely just Kabbalah and spirituality. And he says, listen, there are things that you do, let's say meditation every day, that you pray every day, or you do certain actions every day that are between you and yourself, between you and space, or whatever it is. Some people go to church, some people go to synagogues, and they pray and they do the stuff. It's between you and the place, right? But it's the mundane, regular, set things that people are doing. That's obviously, it's from the habitual behavior and life. They get, okay, that's what I usually do. That's what we do, that's how we do it. In Thanksgiving, we're going to our family, we're sitting dinner. In Christmas, we're going to this. In Easter, we're going to that. In Passover, we're doing this. Very much the religion who guide the world for thousands of years. That's the work that people do. And that's actually called the easy work in a way. It's not easy. It's easy because it's so easy to do something repetitive or something that is, doesn't require too much of thinking. The hard work and the most developing work for us is between us and another, us and our friends. Why? It's very simple. Because there is no work that you do between friends that are similar to each other. Here, can you help me? I got stuck with the car. Here, can you help me pick up the laundry from this when you're way back? Hey, do me a favor, can you? All day long, something else. A friend needs you to listen. A friend needs you to come and give a hand. A friend sends you to send something to some. Between people, it's never set. It's always different. And that's the beauty of doing this work. He says, Ben Adam lechavero, between a friend to between us and others. This is where our light comes into existence, because he says the mitzvot Ben Adam lechavero kodmot reshit, because en ba'em ergel, there is no habit in this. Sometimes someone wake you up in the middle of the night. Wow, that's for my friend, I'm going to do it. Sometimes an employee comes and needs like a little hug, you give them. Be careful, no hugging employees. But I'm saying, a friend, or that person need a hug, or that person need a smile, or it's always different. And that is between us and this and your creator. Your light is not set, is always fluctuate, depend on the work that you do, right? So when you do work with people, it's always like different, and it's triggering something else within you. So obviously make sure that you constantly doing it, because if you're thinking about, I want to reveal the light, I want to help at least reveal or bring someone closer to their light. Wow, it's different from each other, and it's expanding you. It stretches you. It's increasing consciousness to think differently about it. Because if you're gonna do the same thing with everybody, not everybody gonna receive the same way, because everybody is so unique, and their light is so unique. And if you're not making yourself or expand yourself to be able to communicate in many different levels, you're not growing, you're not helping anybody, and eventually you're missing the whole point of what this world is about. So this is another point for this year that I would like you to, if you have an opportunity, jump on those opportunities with people, because you can expand yourself. Because each individual, you're speaking to that girl, she's thinking this way. You're speaking to that guy, he's thinking that way. You're finding their foundation, you're finding their way of thinking, and then you communicate with them in that level. What can help them get closer to their light? So another thing is, he says, as I spoke before, he speaks about the idea, but be careful from coercion. There's no coercion in spirituality. So when you work with people, you want to make sure that there is only a very healthy push. For sure, not something that you're not willing to do. It's something that you have and willing to do, and you're willing to share it with somebody else, that if they push a little bit more here, it can help them reveal what the struggle is. So just make sure that you remember that. Last thing, actually very important part, okay, is okay, you know what? I'll share something beautiful that happened this week, and it happened to be that my friend, actually, we spoke to, we shared that this week, So, and again, it's come from my teacher in this teaching. So this week, actually not this week, was Thursday. Anyway, I spoke to a friend of mine that came to, spend a weekend, in my house. And we have what we call the Shabbat. And we had a beautiful time. It was magical, right? Beautiful and magical, whatever words I used, right? Anyway, so we were speaking about it. And he was speaking, and he called me. He says, "What a Shabbat! What a beautiful time! Wow, I never felt this way." Blah blah blah. And I told him, I felt the same way. And again, we try to describe that Shabbat, that time together. My teacher said in one of the classes, again, just, I hope everybody will take it the right way to understand it. And he says a story. He says, one day I went to a Shabbat in my beginning time. I went to my teacher, to Rav Brandwein, to Israel in Jerusalem, and I spent Shabbat with him. And my teacher, after Shabbat, I told my teacher, that's my teacher tell his teacher, which is his night to night. He tells his teacher, what a Shabbat, what a time. I never had that feeling. I never felt this way. And he says to him, you didn't get anything. You didn't understand. So my teacher was like taken back, because obviously, what do you mean I didn't get? I didn't get, what do you mean I didn't get? When we putting words on something, what do? We limit. For example, how many times can I say it was amazing, amazing, amazing? Try to describe something to someone that was incredible. Another word. Oh, it was insane. It was unheard of. And with the loudest voice that you can. It still put borders on what was there. Once you try to describe it with words, it's your ego. It's only my ego wants to, oh, what a feeling, and how was it, and how great was it. Look at that. Ask anybody. Great, 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 great. Amazing, 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 amazing. What else? Excellent. Perfect. Unbelievable. Say it many times as you want. It's still putting borders to the light of the Creator, to your light, to what light was revealed in that moment. So we spoke last week about evil tongue. Don't speak evil. That is the most evil you can speak. What do you mean? That's evil? No. What is evil? Limitation, borders. When you look at somebody, you have to look at people in an unlimited way, in a way that they cannot even see themselves. That is what we're talking about. So many of us wants to what we call put borders on feelings. If you try to describe how much you love somebody and what kind of words you use, even if you're going to use so many words, you still limit the love in words. So what we want, again, this year, is our desire not going to be in a place of creating limitation so we can actually feel good about ourselves. Our desire should be in a place, I want to feel the endless. My desire is endless. What I felt today in this class, or in a connection that we had, or in an event that we had, or in a wedding you went, oh, the wedding was amazing, amazing, amazing. No, there are no words. If you put in words, it's because my ego, that's where you came from. So what I would like each one of us to understand, to come from an endless desire, you have no words for that. And again, once you put it in words, you ground the energy, you limit what was there. So again, as much as we can, it's not about not saying thank you. It's not about not saying like, oh, I appreciate, but come from that place of an unlimited state. Come from that place that nothing that I can say will describe an inch of what was there. This is a beautiful, again, I'm telling you, this is a beautiful lessons to have, that your consciousness in that place, that nothing that you can say will describe what was there. And now you get closer to an endless desire. This would help you get closer to an endless desire. So I think we're good for now. Yeah. Anyone have any question, any desire to know? That's where we, right?